Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien speaking on Thursday, April 11th. And, well, me and Bubba are here. We still want tap, and we still hoping that Mr. Schultz gets on tap. And most of you Americans get on tap. You see the situation there? I mean, you got all kinds of things going on here. You got El Fuhrer and Mr. Gerbers, also known AKA President Trump and Mr. Miller. They don't even know what the hell they're doing. They're just going at it, as I say, Fuhrer and Goebbels there. They don't even understand immigration, let alone how to control it. They're 40 years too late for what they want to do. They don't understand that. Somebody hit a watermelon on their heads, will you? Well, be that as it may, I wanted to do a video here for you Americans and tell you why the ideas that some of your lawmakers are crazy. Uh, for instance, the Democrats, all they want to do is stop President Trump. They don't got any agendas on their things. They don't even know there's no agendas at all for the Republican Party either. They got no backbone. The problem is there is no mission statement for the U.S. There is no standard of operations for the U.S. government. And no, you can't go from administration to administration. That has not worked. Ever since you started, that was one of the pet peeves of President Washington. If you read his farewell address, and reiterated by President Eisenhower. But you guys have watermelons for brains. You never read it. You never acted. What is wrong with you Americans? I don't understand you. Also, you got lawmakers like AOC. Reparations for the African Americans. What you want, reparations for the Latins too? What about reparations for the American Indians? Give you an example. They should deserve a lot of reparations because, like I said before in my other videos, 1783, the Treaty of Paris, started all your mess that you got here. They were not included in that treaty, and the British knew it. All those Indian tribes were dead ducks when they sent them over to the Americans because they knew that the Americans needed money, and they had to put people in there. So if you buy lands from the Northwest Territory, the American government would pay off their loans to France and Spain. And then Britain will have an ally in North America. Yeah. And then, 1799, a coup d'etat by Napoleon. So then again, the tables turned on the U.S. British thing. But Napoleon, like I told you before, like President Washington, like the Americans before him in 1783, he got another Roosevelt pulled on him by uh, Napoleon, where he had to buy the Louisiana Purchase. He only wanted the port of New Orleans. So he got another $15 million, which angered the Americans. Said, "Why are you spending that money?" But he knew better. He sent Lewis and Clark over there. So you see, Americans. And then he had to placate the South, of course. So he didn't know how. Neither did his successor, Madison. It wasn't until James Monroe's time that they finally settled on the Compromise of 1820. But no reparations were ever done there. So you see, AOC, no reparations there. And how come you don't have if you don't have reparations for the American Indians? The government did try to do some reparations for the Japanese. But did the Japanese ever do reparations for what they did in World War II to China? To Korea? No. Did the Chinese ever do reparations for Tibet when they invaded them in 59? No. Did the Russians ever do reparations for all the territory they got by force to become Russian Empire? No. Did Mexico get any reparations for the Mexican cession? No. So you see, Americans, this is something that your lawmakers don't understand. Reparations for what? In the African Americans, reparations for uh, slavery? That's part of history. Deal with it. Just like us Latins had to deal with the Spanish. Did we ever get any reparations for the Spanish, especially in Panama, holding us from 1503 all the way over to uh, 1821, or Colombia? Well, we shouldn't get any reparations for them because we were stupid and decided to join them in 1828. And then Roosevelt pulled his famous Roosevelt. Oh, yeah, and another thing. The deals that you make, like Trump says, deals, deals, and so does AOC, right? Well, I'll tell you a deal. You know how the Panama Canal came to be? The history says that the United States saved Panama from Colombia, right? But that was wrong. Because the true history goes like this, guys. The Americans wanted to build the canal in Panama. But most Americans wanted to build it in Nicaragua. And of course, the Colombian Senate told them go stick it in 1902. So the Congress was ready to vote on moving the canal over to Nicaragua. Then you had this famous French guy, Baru Barilla. He decided, hey, I want my money back from the equipment that's all rotting in Panama from the French. So he sent the congressman a stamp of Lake Nicaragua with that famous volcano on the stamp. Of course they didn't vote for that. Would you want to vote for a canal with a volcano right in the middle of it? And how are you going to build it on Lake Nicaragua? They didn't know. But they knew they had to build a lock canal in Panama, so they had that all set. So Colombia still told them to go stick it, so Roosevelt pulled his Roosevelt and stole the country from Panama. And by the way, no Panamanian ever signed that first treaty. So that's why you had the disagreement with the United States that went from 1904 to 1979. And again in 1989 with the invasion. So you see, Americans, reparations galore all over the place. You did, however, and this is something you don't understand. Your government paid over $460 billion to Panama for that invasion of 1989. They never told you that, did they? So you see Americans as an alien. I'm telling you, look at what you're doing. Think of who you're voting for and get this government right, will you? Thanks.